think that, see, Europe is always difficult for us. Spain, yes, we can beat Getafe or Oviedo or Sasuna. These teams are not, challenges to us. But in Europe, this is a weak PSG team. Imagine you're facing a team that is actually that good. You're facing a tough Liverpool team. Yes, they lost against Galatasaray, but they are always that tough. You are facing big teams. Imagine you face Inter Milan again.
I have a question for Wadud. I don't want him to go,
yes.
but Andy, go.
Barca has to come to the fore. Anytime for the past 6 seasons, anytime they go to Europe, they will do so well in the league. But anytime they go to Europe, there's something lacking, and they have to solve that. You can't tell me, because Rafinha wasn't there, that's why you lost the game. But PSG, almost their team was off. There was no João Neves.
Half of that team.
Yes, there was no Carver. The front three was not there. There was no Carver. There was no Doué. There was no Dembele, who is the world's best. There was no Manquinhos, who is the rock at the back. There's no Neves. You understand? So PSG, kudos to them, and kudos to the coach, that is Luis Enrique, a very underrated coach that we don't talk about. He has won 2 trebles. Pep has also won 2 trebles, but we always talk about Pep. He's a coach that we have to put our mind to.
Okay.
Very, very underrated coach. To the other games that happened, Højlund, see, he's enjoying himself in Napoli and Naples, and I'm happy for him. Together with that is some French players in EPL like McTominay. McTominay wasn't even started at United, but see, he was Serie A's best player last season. We have Billy Gilmour. Billy Gilmour wasn't even seeing the light of day at Brighton. Chelsea hooked him off one afternoon.
Yeah,
sold him to Brighton. But see, such players and Gizzard, they are not your typical, great players, but they are doing so well. And I'm also happy for Vega. His first starts in the Champions League for Villarreal, and then he gets, the equalizer for them against, Juventus. Juventus will be hard done. They drew in their first game, so they wanted to get a win away from home at the Estadio de la Ceramica, but it wasn't meant to be. Arsenal, yes, solidifying their lead 2-0. I think they have made the Emirates a fortress since they came back from the Champions League hiatus in 2023, and yes, they have to push on. They will win all their home games, but when it gets to the crunch, I hope they come to the party when we get to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and the finals. And basically, to end with it, I'll leave it to remember back then in JHS, if you do dentons, you watch me, Mr. Kwe, you do crackings, then you go do something. You go push. So I'm pushing it to the sports Zlatan. So do the push.
So Zlatan needed some time to recover before he makes his case. But I want to ask the question I was going to ask Wadud. Yeah. I'm going to ask the same question to Zlatan.
Okay,
Wadud.
No, when he's done.
When he's done.
Yeah, when he's done.
If Zlatan, are you with me?
Boss, I'm here.
If Barcelona had played in the Champions League final against PSG, do you still believe that PSG would not have won the Champions League final?
Boss, righty. Charlie.
Oh Lord, Zlatan.
Boss,
let's hear you.
So I think if you asked this question, somewhere last year, last season, I would have said, based on the momentum of both teams and also how good I know Enrique to be in finals and how good he is as a manager, as a tactical genius, it would be 50-50. But now, from what I've seen, the momentum, they lost a big game against Chelsea. They lost against Olympique de Marseille. They've lost some key players, but they were able to prove that football is not always on the pitch. It is now the tactical brain behind that will, let the players play a certain way or a certain style to dominate opponents. It is not always about, I have this player, I have this dribbler, I have this creator. Now it is also, brought to the point that you need your tactical brain behind. So if you're asking this question today, boss, PSG on any day deserved that final, deserved that win in the Champions League, and they deserved what they won last season. And also today, they proved to the world that football back then in France was They are big names. Di Maria, Ibrahimovic, Lionel Andre Messi, Neymar 222 million, Kylian Mbappe, the king of France getting the opportunity to enter even the parliament because you don't want to go to Madrid, blah, blah, blah. Enrique came to PSG and then he changed their destiny. He changed it not with the personnel on the pitch. First, it was the mentality. It was founded in his dreams, his tactical lenses, before it was transferred, or the football world, we saw it on the pitch. And that's Luis Enrique. So if you're asking me this question today, on any day, PSG would have dominated Barcelona. They would today they played without Dembele. Boss, you see, I wanted to analyze the game so some 5 minutes, then you go. Then you go. PSG has beaten Barcelona literally with their B team today. The reason I'm saying this is that from the goalkeeping department, they changed. It was Cavalier. Last year, it was Donnarumma. From the back line, they were having Marquinhos with William Pacho, Hakimi, and then Nuno Mendes. They were lacking their central player, their captain, Marquinhos. They were playing who? Zabaini, the player who joined the squad the season after they won. But they've been able to transform even Zabaini from that Bournemouth guy to a monster that today Barcelona were not even able to penetrate. You see, for Paris Saint-Germain, what they've done, ball possession, they dominated Barcelona. In terms of possession, Paris Saint-Germain got at least 414 passes out of 474. Barca was averaging around 367. When I talk about Pedri, Frankie de Jong, Vitinha, and then Fabian Ruiz, and then João Neves, today João Neves didn't play. So the tactical game from these two coaches, Barcelona went into the game with that mentality. We the fans were feeling like we are going to beat them. Lamine Yamal was posting on IG, Facebook, the mission is back. No. You see, you can be a player, you can believe in your skill set, but what managers see on the pitch, they don't see just a single player. Managers need to study 22 players, even extend it to the players on the bench. That's how good a manager can be. Although a manager won't kick the ball, but he kicks the ball with the brain. Luis Enrique in sphere 1, Hansi Flick in sphere 2. Hansi Flick today, we saw that the anger, the desire that Barcelona plays with, even if we are playing against a most vulnerable side, that we want to thumb them and beat them. I don't know where it all went. It felt like Rashford, Ferran, Lamine, we were so reluctant. I'm using the word we because I'm a Barcelona fan. I won't use it again. I'm not a Barcelona fan tonight. Tonight, I'm supporting PSG. You see, Barcelona today, after barely 5 minutes into the game, we were off. And the reason is this. Barcelona controls the ball, not only from the back line or the attacking third, but rather in the midfield. Last season, Pedri covered at least 161.4 kilometers. That's Pedri. He loves to operate interior, like centrally, running to half paces. Same too for Frankie de Jong. They dominate you in the midfield. Frankie de Jong has this twist and turn style that he wants you where in the middle part of the pitch, because he knows that when Vitinha or Fabian Ruiz, goes on to attack, it now leaves space for who? Either Ferran Torres, the Shark, or Lamine Yamal, Rashford, or even if Lewandowski is on the pitch. But today, Luis Enrique decided that, I know, if we play this ball in the midfield battle will be won by Barcelona, and that means they'll win all the balls. If they are having the 50-50 balls, they are having the most touches, they are rather going to dominate the game, and we will find ourselves wanting. Luis Enrique decided that, okay, the player who played as the pressing machine for me is Dembele. He's not available. The player who played as the half winger and also a half midfielder, the Messiah, whenever they are attacking, he joins the attack. Whenever they are defending, they come back in numbers. You see Kvaratskhelia playing so good as a defender. Meanwhile, he's a winger. That's his job. He also adds midfield role to Kvaratskelia's duties. That's how good he is. Today they were playing without Dembele and then Kvaratskhelia. The best place to possess the game for Paris Saint-Germain was not in the up front, was not in the midfield, but where? The back line. Last year, the only reason why Bournemouth decided to take over 60 million for Zabaini was that if you want players who were ball holders, players who enjoyed playing the ball at their feet, there were only two. Bournemouth had Dean Huijsen partnering this guy, Zabaini.
Yeah.
So the same job that Dean Huijsen did with holding the ball, Zabaini too does it. So Luis Enrique decided, okay, then Pacho and then Zabaini will be dictating the pace at the back. And I want to take Barcelona fans into history. The libero role, which was missing, that libero role today, we saw it in Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes was that man because the Germans had Frank Beckenbauer, who was dictating the play.
What we call liberal.
Yes, the libero or liberal.
But in Ghana we say liberal.
In Ghana we
liberal, free role.
Free role.
Yes,
so the libero in Italian means free.
Yeah.
To be free.
Yeah.
So back then in the 1950s, if I'm not wrong, we saw Frank Beckenbauer do it with the German national team and also with the clubs that I think Bayern. He played right behind center backs because he was free to sweep and also initiate attack. From the 1960s, 70s, that we
70s,
saw. Yes,
I think
we saw the Italians also give us Franco Baresi.
Yeah.
And then from Franco Baresi, we saw Johan Cruyff's Ronald Koeman. So these were center backs who knew how to initiate attack from the back.
Yeah.
They had midfielders, but they decided to hold the ball at their feet at the back to control their opponent. So they'll bet you for you to fall out. Today, the player who was operating like that for Paris Saint-Germain was not Zabaini or who? Pachuba, who Nuno Mendes. He's a left back for them, but he decided to exploit the left flank of FC Barcelona, which is the right flank of who? Koundé. So carrying the ball from the back was who? Nuno Mendes. He went in 1-2 with just two players in the attacking third for Paris Saint-Germain. He was able to locate Mayulu for him to be on the scoring sheet to equalize for Paris Saint-Germain. That's tactical genius from Luis Enrique. They dominated transitions. They were not ready to play. Pedri was gasping for air. Frankie de Jong was just gasping for air. Because these guys, when they don't have the ball at their feet, they are useless. And this is Barcelona. This is what we've suffered tonight because we were not having the ball. Why? Lamine Yamal is a good dribbler. You can't take it away from him. So what will you do that Lamine Yamal won't dribble? When you take the ball from the middle, the supply channel from Pedri and then Frankie de Jong to Lamine Yamal will be cut short. So Lamine Yamal too will be useless on the flank. Rashford too will be useless on the flank because even your midfielders who control the pace of the game are not getting enough passes. Then how dare you, Lamine Yamal, get the ball to score and come and dance on our heads?
True.
No. So they decided to play the ball at the back and now open the pitch so wide that Lamine Yamal will be forced to play invertedly. He will be forced to join the midfield shanks because in the midfield nothing was working.
Yeah.
Centrally, there was no João Neves. He's the only player who covered the most distance for PSG last season in the League One and also in the Champions League. The most passes was by Vitinha. So there was only Vitinha, but the player who will be doing the dirty work was not available. So I was expecting Hansi Flick to rather decide that, okay, if you are winning the battle on the flanks, even Lamine Yamal is not able to use the flanks so well because you are blocking our channels, then we rather play the game centrally. Centrally to Dani Omono Bogu. Frankie de Jong was not getting the ball, so it was not working. This is what he did. In the second half, all these things were successful because the mentality and the desire, the anger from Barcelona today to win the game, to thump their opponent was lacking.
But what was the counter strategy from Hansi Flick to neutralize this? You can't suffer like this the whole of the second half without responding.
So this is it. So in the second half,
he brought Lewandowski. He did two substitutions.
Exactly. So
what was the plan?
The plan was Hansi Flick saw that, okay, on the wings and then the flanks where I have my big guys, the Lamine and then Rashford, it is not working. So centrally, I have to penetrate you. He added who? Lewandowski. People will say, okay, then Lewandowski for Ferran. No, he decided to keep the two because he wanted that overload, not on the flanks, but rather up front, in the middle, centrally. But this is what Luis Enrique too did. So Hansi Flick's response was just to dominate in the middle. So I was expecting the player who was on the yellow card in the midfield or Frankie to be off. But he decided to throw more weight in the midfield by bringing who? Casado for Dani Olmo. Because he needed Frankie to control the game and then Pedri to still do those runs. But not Enfa. The reason why Hansi Flick's response was 0 today is because he thought they will still be keeping their Nuno Mendes at the back. No.
Because of Yamal.
Nuno Mendes should have been sent off this game. Do you agree with that?
So we'll go there. We'll go there.
That's why it took him from that.
So you see, with Nuno Mendes and then Luis Enrique, he decided, okay, from the back, now there's Lucas Hernandez. Lucas Hernandez, we shouldn't forget, he's a left back, and they converted him to a centre back role. So he decided to play a 3-back by taking off Mbaye, the right flank of Koundé, the player who was facing Koundé directly, for Mayulu now to drift wide and then Bakola to play centrally. Then Nuno Mendes will now operate as a winger. So Nuno Mendes plays more as a libero role, a player who was carrying all the weight from the back in the first half. But in the second half, when Hansi Flick decided to play centrally, he then went to put his big player, that player who was making the difference in terms of creating chances, to play as a winger. So when you decide to control the game centrally, then your back two will be vulnerable. So Nuno Mendes was there. That means that Koundé won't come. And if Koundé is not coming up front, it means Lamine Yamal will be starved of the balls, because Koundé and Lamine Yamal partnership click here. So they needed someone to be there. Nuno Mendes was just cutting those passing. So you get me. So to me, he shifted the pitch from 4 back, and now he moved all his good players and those who are progressing with the ball to the left flank to now catch Lamine Yamal shock. So over there, even if Lamine Yamal dribbles past who, Nuno Mendes, he would then come and meet who, Lucas Hernandez, and that place was stacked with PSG. There's Pacho and there's Zabaini. Hakimi too decided to go because Rashford is not coming in with some fine touches. This is what
I was to touch on some of the statistics in the game to tell you why PSG won the game, especially in the second half. So, see, the whole game, if you look at the possession statistics, Barcelona had 47%. PSG had 53%.
Yeah.
The XG 1.31 for Barca, 1.52 for PSG. Big chances, 3 for Barcelona, 4 for PSG. And then the total shots, 12 for Barca, 15 for PSG. This is where it shocks me. If you look at the saves, 5 saves for Tech, 0 saves for Chevalier. The PSG keeper didn't make any save
the whole game
because the Olmo boy was saved by Zabani on the line. So the goalkeeper didn't make any saves. And Barcelona played 424 passes. PSG played 474, 50 more passes than Barca. But this is where the problem. In the second half, Barcelona played 151 passes. PSG played 269 passes. More. My maths in there now. 151 minus 269 minus 151. So almost double of Barcelona's passes in the second half. And in the second half, Enrique, the first sub Enrique made was on the 65th minute. That was the Lucas Hernandez sub for Mbaye. Just before this guy fouled Lamine Yamal. So the coach was smart. Enrique was smart, and he took out Mbaye for Lucas Hernandez, put Lucas Hernandez as a left winger, he put Nuno Mendes as a left winger, where he would have less duty to mark Lamine Yamal. He would just be there. If the ball counts, maybe you attack or whatever, but he doesn't have to mark because he was already on a yellow and was already threatening to have a red card. So that was where the trick started, putting Nuno Mendes over there and then keeping Lucas Hernandez at the left back. And that's where Hansi Flick, if you say where Hansi Flick should have counted, that was where Hansi Flick should have counted, because at that moment we weren't controlling the game already.
But what would he have done to counter it?
That was already Barcelona weren't controlling the game. So that was where it should have, because and that side was cut off. The way Barcelona's danger zone was cut off. That's the right side of the Barcelona's attack. And sometimes in games where Hansi Flick wins, when the right side of Barcelona's attack is cut off, that is where the left side also works, where Balde is. But you see, Balde, you cannot fault him that much because Balde is coming from an injury, and this is a high intensity game. You cannot just play. So I was even surprised when you brought him later on, because Charlie, if you don't want to bring him on, then don't bring him on. Don't wait until the game has overed us and you're not bringing him on. What's he supposed to do? So that was, if Balde was fit, he would have even started the game, and then maybe you could have, because in the first 15 to 20 minutes, I feel Barca should have had a 2-goal lead. Because you see, these are what champions are made of. You had them and didn't kill them, and they came back into the game, because before the goal, it was individual brilliance from Mendes. Before the goal, PSG weren't really threatening like that. It was Barcelona who were threatening. That's what I'm saying. I was saying Lamine Yamal made 2 or 3 key passes at that within the first 20 minutes. One to Ferran, another to Ferran, and then one to, I think, Dani Olmo. So that's where Enrique saw that he had to find an antidote to what Lamine Yamal. And then later on, PSG started growing into the game. First chance fell to Bakola. He missed it, flubbed his lines and all that. And then PSG started growing in confidence. So in the first half, it was even. But when the second half started, they upped their game. Because in the first half, I think Vitinha was a pale shadow of himself. Second half, he upped his game a bit together with what's his name, Fabian Ruiz. Yeah. And then in the second half, you saw more of Hakimi moving into the final third. That's what I'm saying. So the people were saying why was the Rashford why did he sub Rashford? But I think he couldn't keep up with Nuno Mendes after the 50-60. He couldn't keep up with him because Hakimi was attacking more. And Nuno Mendes was attacking. So in this way, the coach will have to take him out and bring somebody. And who did he bring on? Lewandowski. Charlie, dead legs. His legs are tired. And that's why he brought on Casado to help the midfield. Because Pedro was also tired. And then Frenkie de Jong. So if Pedro was tired, because normally Frenkie de Jong is either Frenkie de Jong who will go for the ball first or Pedri. But majority of the time it's Pedri. So when already we were losing the balls, and then when Pedri went off, Charlie, that was it. Because now Kubasi, who Kubasi passed the ball to distribute the ball?
There's no outlet.
And then he planted Lucas Hernandez. Hakimi too moved high up the pitch. So at that point, PSG were rather playing high line. And Barcelona were pegged back because of the coach's tactics. So Charlie, superb work from Enrique. Because Charlie, I couldn't recognize my team. Yeah. Especially the last 30 minutes. So I couldn't recognize my team. I needed to go somewhere, but I couldn't recognize my team. Charlie, we get ball now, we take it PSG. We get ball. Hey,
let me take you back.
I thought it was Stoke City that was playing.
Last season at the end of the Champions League, do you think you would have won in the final?
Yeah, I think we'd have beaten them.
How?
I mean, you
saw what he did to Inter Milan. You said, Barça, why did Inter?
They would have, obviously, PSG would have beaten us 5-0.
With their team B, you are saying you couldn't recognize your team.
That's what I'm saying.
If they had the main guys, it would have been worse for you.
This season we've not started better than last season. And last season, you see, all the teams picked at the
PSG are not playing well this season.
All the teams picked at the right moment. That's what I'm saying. But we are not really playing well.
No, but you are. I think you are in better form than PSG.
That's what I'm saying. See, if you look at our games, it's mostly comebacks.
No, you are in better form than PSG.
How?
Olympic Marseille won't be scoring the league they are form.
You saw Charlie that game, Charlie, two mindsets. One at the Ballon d'Or ceremony, and one on the
Wadud.
on the pitch.
I promise you,
it would have been great context. Because you see, everybody would have been fit. Barca would have had Koundé, Balde. Charlie, the dynamic.
If
Inigo Martinez was still there.
If PSG had their strongest 11, this would have been a nightmare.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you.
You said they would have come into the game with a different tactics.
No, obviously. But Barca has one way of playing, and that's what Hansi Flick knows how to do best. That's what he did. It worked for him in 20 minutes. Once there was a counter reaction, in-game management, he couldn't respond because there's no look. When you even bring Casado, you bring Lewandowski, you want to keep the game central. What do you do to get them off the wings? He couldn't respond. Well, I was listening to what both of you are saying. He had no answer.
So,
and imagine this in the Champions League final with the quality of that front three, with Marquinhos back in defense. It would have been really, really bad for Barcelona.
That's what I'm saying. In the midfield.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you see with the wing play, obviously they are the ones good. He doesn't have any. Who does he have on the bench? Nobody.
When you take Barcelona's fullbacks out, there's nothing. The supply to Pedri is short-handed. The supply to the wingers, Lamine Yamal and Rashford, short-handed.
When Lewandowski came on, I thought we would go long sometimes. Because the ball wasn't moving from our 18.
Hansi Flick will not go long. Let's not make any mistake about it. Why will Hansi Flick go long?
See, Lewandowski was in the other half doing what? Nothing, because
if you wanted him to go long, Pedro was out of the game. Who is it?
You have to with the defenders. You have to go long because he brought on Lewandowski. Listen to my point. He brought on Lewandowski. Lewandowski will act as the arrowhead, and that time PSG weren't playing from the back. They pinned us back. So what was Lewandowski's use in the game? Because that means we are virtually playing with like one man down because he's not pressing PSG. He's just up front.
The passing lane.
And I'm saying,
wait. Hakimi came high up the pitch.
Nuno on Koundé. So who are you expecting to do that cross to Lewa?
That's what I'm saying. You see, we had the ball. We were playing from the back.
Yeah.
So long balls to Lewandowski.
Have you seen Dieter Flick playing long balls before?
No, that's what I'm saying. See, sometimes you have to go long ball. But the ball when is out
in the heat of the moment where they teach you coaching.
Pedro was out of the game.
Yeah.
And you still want to play the same way.
You saw when the whistle blew for the final. You saw how furious he was
after the goal.
He was furious. Even when Luis Enrique, wanted to greet him, your man would not feel laugh.
But you know they are good friends.
Oh yeah.
No, they are very good friends. No, they are very good friends. But today on the pitch, what we the fans don't see. today, Hansi Flick knew that this is the reason why I stayed for more than 10 years as a backup coach to drag him low. Because, you see, in coaching, there are ladders you have to climb. Even today, Maresca today will bow down to Luis Enrique. Do you know why?
Maybe I was looking.
Do you know why? He knew that he was able to beat Luis Enrique in the final.
Only Maresca has the antidote.
No.
Oh no,
so this is it. So this is it. You saw Maresca beat Luis Enrique.
But if they meet again,
but
Luis Enrique, you see, that's the thing about good coaches. They always adapt. You see, when you are beating somebody consistently, like what Pep was doing to Mourinho, he'll go and find an answer. Go and find the system. Even Ferguson was finding solutions to Mourinho in 2005. You go back and you plan and you figure it out.
Boss, don't go far.
Glasner told Pep, I will find you out.
Glasner.
I will find you.
With Crystal Palace, he spent less than 50 million in the transfer window. He beat Liverpool back.
He said, if you play the same system, Wadud,
football,
if you play the same system, I'll find you out. And I tell you that if Maresca meets Luis Enrique and he comes back with that inverted fullback drifting into, it won't work.
So to me,
obviously, I'm sure
today, what I know very well that Hansi Flick and Marcus Sorg and tactical team, they'll go back and watch the videos and they will understand that it's just like a student who skipped class for one day and then his other student went far ahead, because today Luis Enrique was on top of the game. Enrique was sitting in his chair, man. Go and watch Enrique against Maresca. No, did not touchline say. He say but today he say as a tie Hansi Flick in hand put back like this. Coach they play ball. Lamine Yamal go post on IG. Then Barca fans they do Lamine Yamal post to the mission is on the mission. No, a footballer who reads the game from his own lenses, because he's a winger, so he wants to dribble past Nuno Mendes. Ahead of the game, Lamine is so obsessed with this, and I know very well that the mind game from Hakimi too worked. Hakimi went to the press ahead of the game that the Lamine Yamal will be playing against the best left back. He knows very well that Lamine Yamal too is the best second player in the world. Mind games. He eats so deep into our boy. Just some few hours later, Lamine Yamal too went to post on IG. I'm back, so the mission is back. Mission failure. Barcelona played like amateur team.
That's what good coaching.
No, we have to see me. I always say this, that since 2015 when we won the Champions League, we did say Luis Enrique, you now Enrique Bidimo. See, since he won that treble for us, in 16 we got disgrace in Italy, Juve, and then I think Roma before he left.
No, one was Atletico Madrid.
One was before he left. Since he left, Barcelona is one of the clubs that our progress was stagnant, not due to personnel, but due to coaches available. Boss, Keke Setien, he the coach Villarreal. When he come coach Barcelona, as he come there against this team, same Dita Flake, 8-2 we chop. Ernesto Valverde was going unbeaten in La Liga. Eusebio Di Francesco used the lives of Edin Dzeko, Costas Manolas, AS Roma, Stadio Olimpico to beat us in the year when Iniesta retired from Barcelona. After that, from this same Ernesto Valverde, we went 3 goals up in Camp Nou. Anfield, a Georgian club was able to outsmart
corner taking quickly.
And the thing is, if you're a Barca fan, go and watch the game. It was not played on the pitch. Tactically, your coach was off. And today too, the only manager who brought some spark, some flair, because last season the desire to win, the desire to dominate Europe was there, because we saw at least since 2015 we got a manager who has a rich CV. He won 6 tuples with Bayern Munich, dominated the world, dominated European tournament, and we saw same desire last year.
Zlatan.
All of a sudden, boom, we for recover. Hansi Flick for recover.
So I mean, this might be a good loss, because if it had ended 1-1, it would have been challenging.
No, we needed this defeat. We needed this. You know the certain. A defeat can change everything.
Because Hansi Flick, Barca had 12 comebacks.
Wow, every day you want to go down and come back.
This.
Boss, before you go, I watched Real Madrid against. I want you to, before you go, I watched Real Madrid against Kairat Almaty yesterday. First half, and I told myself that any big club that sits down for their rivals to beat them, or their local giants, derbies, for it affects the mentality of the players. Yesterday, in the first half, if you're a Madrid fan and you watch against Kyral Almaty, Madrid were playing like an amateur club. Do you know why? There's that pressure. Like, there's that sense of urgency that they've lost against Atletico de Madrid. So they want to make amends quick. Against Kyral Almaty. Courtois, then pass somebody, they fumble. Alaba, they fumble. If not for that penalty, they wouldn't have gotten that goal from Kylian Mbappe to break Kyral Almaty's defense. Why? Because the defeat from Atletico de Madrid, it's so deep that you now feel like there's a pressure on you, want to explode. Barcelona, our manager is furious. Then the players for the dressing room today, they can't sleep. Because I watched a documentary of Hansi Flick and the German national team when they got knocked out of the World Cup. The way he was furious at Kimmich.
I've seen it.
Today, he for last Pedri, Frankie, he forgive this guy, Ferran Torres, he for beat him 16 lashes, Pedri 32, Frankie 16. Oh.
All right, this is still European Nights on Sporty FM. Time check is 9:45 p.m. in Accra, Ghana. We are coming to you 106.1 megahertz in Accra, 102.5 megahertz in Takrady, and 91.3 inside Kumasi.
What they did, they dominated the pitch, they opened it. And if you are watching me today, La Liga teams, go and watch the video clips of PSG versus Barcelona. And any team on earth, even Kotoko, can beat this Hansi Flick system. No, I'm not, you see, I'm saying this because in football, it needs to happen. Someone needs to get a panacea to your tactic that you are using to dominate before others will learn. Olympique de Marseille watched the video clips of Chelsea versus PSG. That's why they were able to beat them on the day where the Ballon d'Or event was happening.
Yeah.
It is not a fluke. Coaches go back to the drawing board and then they learn from their mistakes. I know praising Luis Enrique, now Chelsea fans are happy. No, you see, against Chelsea, he went in with the same tactics he used against Inter Milan, against Arsenal, against Aston Villa, because he knew that was the winning machine. But against Chelsea, Enzo Maresca too decided that I'll overload my midfield by adding Reece James to the midfield and then give you two wingers, João Pedro and then Cole Palmer, to dominate you with Neto. But today, without all his key players, he also decided, okay, Hansi Flick, I will expand the pitch for you. Play centrally, let me see. The Lamine Yamal, I know. If you are checking his hits map, the guy operates very, very well on that flank. The guy, whenever you give him that space to drift inward, like invertedly, he will turn to a midfielder who doesn't get touches. So tactically, Luis Enrique today outcoached the whole Barcelona. Tactically today, Barcelona was off, not from the personnel perspective. From the touchline, he knew he's beating this guy.
Were the tactics so good that he couldn't respond?
Boss,
Flick couldn't respond?
Today, the only response from Hansi Flick that worked perfectly well, the timing was bad. Because when your opponent is using your right flank to cut your passing lanes, then you also have to decide to use his right. When he brought on Balde, the damage was already done. When he brought on Balde, we were playing 1-1. But just as Wadud said, the momentum was not on Barcelona's side. So you saw when Balde came in, he tried to do those drift in and then pulled some weight on the left flank by him, because already they are dominating mentally. When you play first 45 and Pedri is not Pedri, your metronome is off. Pedri is not getting the balls. Barcelona dominates. We don't win balls. We love to keep the ball and then possess. When you are keeping the ball, we struggle to win it back unless you are not brave. But when you are brave to keep the ball, Frankie de Jong won't come and win it back like Kante. Pedri won't give you that dirty winning ball back like Caicedo. You get me? So the only player who could have done that was Casado. By the time he brought Casado on, the damage was already done, because from our first 15 minutes and then it looks like Mayulu is getting more touches than Ferran Torres.
Okay. Thank you very much, Zlatan.
I'll make a finish.
Okay.
Let's look at